to pick up that first map, Mirage, was the pick of Budapest 5, so we now come on to their map pick, Dust 2. And they've been playing an awful lot of Dust 2 over the past 3 months. They will lose out on the knife round, but I think they're going to be fairly confident coming into this.
Yeah, it's a very, very well-known map to the Endpoint guys. They've been playing a ton of it, whereas Budapest 5, not quite as successful. They've actually played it against Endpoint a couple of times themselves, back when they were going under the name of Salamander, and they lost both those times, but they did take it close on one of them. One of them was a 16-13 loss. So there's signs of life, at least for Budapest 5, but we're going to need to see even more from them here if they're going to win on their opponent's map pick. We're ready to get underway into Dust 2. Let's see what Budapest 5 have to offer, starting up on their T side.
Yeah, definitely going to need to improve on their T side, a part of their Mirage, and I think the early rounds in the end, you know, taking a while to get that ball rolling definitely did cost them. I'm going to see a long rush coming in. Crucial backing away. They've got a fair amount of utility to work with here on the T side as well. Surreal trying to pull off a quick flank, but it is being watched. Meanwhile, Budapest 5 have just slowed things way down, lining up the smokes, getting that cross sorted, but Crucial just holding things down. Does manage to find the first or second as well. That one's pretty crispy. Flash coming in, he turns away from it, still as yet to take any damage. They are really not dealing with him. We've got some Julies in here as well from Thomas. Doesn't look like they're going to be needed though. Crucial does eventually go down. There we go, 2 frags coming back for Budapest 5, but they're left incredibly low. Max does get 1. Torzy's left on 7 HP though. Surely not, doesn't happen, and Endpoint will get the pistol.
Yeah, Budapest 5 could just never close the distance here. Crucial landing a couple of shots long range early. That second kill was really nice as well, and they just never really get into a position where the Glocks are that good in those fights. They never really get close enough where you can just start spamming, which is what you're trying to do with the Glocks there. Endpoint dealt with them pretty well. They're able to keep it at range. And now Budapest 5 have decided to take a full save ahead of this second round. It's pretty common to see the second round force buys come in on Dust 2. You can get some scouts, you can get some digs, but it's the Glock train that's going to run over Thomas over at long. I don't know how much more they're going to find here though. Crucial holding, dodges the flashbang, gets some kills, and that is a well-played round by Endpoint, only losing the 1 man.
Yeah, looking really good early on. So Budapest 5 very, very quickly going to have to find their way into things, which is what they are indeed playing for. So the AK's the AWP even for Torzy. It's glass cannon, but you'd hope he'd be able to find something with it. Not going to go for an early shot. Maybe not trying to give away the fact that there's an AWP in play straight away, because obviously there isn't for the CT side, so see how this one turns out. Through lower dark, in towards middle. 2 players so far pushed out. Corey not too far behind. Surreal, however, is going to catch him with the nades in hand. Manages to get 1. Oh, what's going on? What is happening? Surreal, it's absolutely mental. He actually only gets 1 of those kills. 1 of them was a team kill. This has been a crazy start to the first rifle round of Dust 2. Flashy and Torzy, the only ones left. They don't really know what's happened, where their teammates have gone, how it didn't work out. One guy provides such trouble, and now they're left to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, a little bit uncomfortable at the start of this round for both teams, really. Team kill for Budapest 5, not the best from Surreal, but at least he gets 1 kill. At least he keeps his composure for 1 frag, because that keeps them in a really good spot. It's only Torzy left now with the AWP. He might be able to move onto the bomb site here. Thomas has been spotted on the ramp. Torzy looking for this fight at elevator, but the flank is coming in the entire time. That's something he has to be aware of. Goes back for this fight. Somehow he's still alive, just trying to land these shots, but he's not able to do so. And Thomas finally goes for the fight, takes it away from him, and takes a nice 3-0 lead for Endpoint at the start of this game. Looking good for them here at the start of Dust 2.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit troublesome if this continues. Like I said, Budapest 5, their T side was kind of the weaker part. They've struggled in the past against Endpoint on this very map. I feel like they at one point were thinking they were going to win that first map, looking really, really comprehensive on the CT side. Nice little nade play here. They're going to go straight through the Molotov. 2 quick kills coming in. All right. Here we go. Not a single trade coming back. Crucial is nice and close. Does get one. It's still going to be really, really tough. Sure, they've got the weaker weaponry, but they've managed to recover an M4 and AK as well. This is a lot more doable for Budapest 5 in this kind of a round. The super fast push onto B catches off the initial defenders. But it is brought back even, so Endpoint looking to fight their way back onto the B bomb site.
They're going to go for this, but the time is not really on their side. Crucial remains pretty far away from the site itself, but in comes Thomas and Robin. The AKs both coming on through, but Ito pushes through mid, and the time is so far gone. He's just got to delay another kill with the MAC-10, and Robin just does not have the time. He gets the kill, but he's not going to get the round. Budapest 5 win on the fast B play, and Robin even dies to the bomb at the end there. Such a shame for Endpoint. After getting onto a good start in this game, they just get run over at the B site early. We barely even got to see how those kills came in because they were so fast. But Budapest 5 clearly had a good spawn for B. They made the most of it. And now this is a chance for Budapest 5 to make their mark on Dust too early here, because both teams are buying what they can into this round. But it's Endpoint who are getting the worst of it. It's Endpoint who have a couple of players stuck on pistols.
Ooh, big damage coming in. Pedito is going to manage to find that kill onto Crucial. Double spray down from Thomas coming in, though. He swaps across to the AWP. A brilliant opener coming in to turn things completely on its head. Flashy is left so low from that earlier tag as well, and Thomas is looking to take this round into his own hands as he gets himself a third. Budapest 5 are locked out. Perhaps a B rush is all they can muster at this point, making a lot of noise here towards the lower tunnels. There's two players to deal with. Get your gun out, Torzy. He will manage one, but he's traded immediately. And Endpoint straight back in with a fourth.
Lineup from Thomas was so nice. Sometimes things just align for you, and this was one of those rounds for Thomas. Ended up picking up the AWP to do even more damage at the end there. And so even though Endpoint falter in the previous round, they quickly make up for it. And they force Budapest 5 back down to pistols. Double up setup now in the hands of Crucial and Surreal on the CT side. And Thomas playing the similar position, but he was boosting his teammate who's just lost out. Torzy with a really nice shot at the start of this one, but Robin replies with a good spray transfer of his own. Still could be a close round though. Budapest 5 showing some prowess with these pistols.
Definitely, you know, have these individuals that we've talked about, but I think it's always kind of plagued this squad when they were Salamander as well. They kind of struggle to utilize those individuals properly, I would say. I mean, it's kind of difficult. Corey is always one that comes to mind, of course. Does get the head of one, ahead of the second, so never can be written off with the Deagle. He does have armor to play with and could get his hands onto a rifle. Robin is also low. With the bomb going down, things become a lot more interesting here for Corey.
He's going to stay on the bomb site. He doesn't know exactly where the CTs are coming from, but he's got another kill. He doesn't realize Mighty Max is also at long, though. So unfortunately for Corey, he gets blindsided by the last man. But wow, did that come close from Corey. And even just getting that kill onto the site and getting the bomb down is already nice to get the extra cash. And more importantly, to keep Endpoint's economy low. Because earlier we saw Endpoint have to go down to some pistols. We saw them have some issues with their money. And with only saving one gun from this round, Endpoint's money is going to be on the edge here. They're going to have to invest basically everything on the CT side. So just getting those kills could make a big difference if Budapest 5 can now go on to win this round.
Yeah, they are setting themselves up well, but a few more pieces to the puzzle. Endpoint firmly in the driver's seat. Always say it's really difficult to replicate those kind of fast pistol rounds, and we're seeing that from Budapest 5. Nice little flash coming in. Oh, Corey's just been spotted creeping up to short there. At the very least, that information is in. Double up setup here from Endpoint. Deep nade coming in. Corey going to take all that damage. So he's gotten himself onto short, but at what cost? not really able to find anything off of it, and Budapest 5 getting locked out by some late utility. Bedito trying to get aggressive here. This is dangerous.
I feel like using that smoke on the floor there gives away that you're probably thinking of pushing mid. Normally that sort of smoke is not used too often, but here we go. Crucial's burning on the B site. Mighty Max gets traded out, but Crucial is not going to get anything going here on the B bomb site. That Molotov was really causing issues for him. He couldn't assist his teammate on the hold, and Endpoint gets shut out of the B site. The trades go the way of Budapest 5. The fast mid to B pays off. Crucial there was watching mid to begin with, but he rotated back to B. He was playing on the bomb site with his teammate, and unfortunately that didn't really bear any fruits for him. He couldn't find an angle to work with, and it has to be a save for Endpoint. A bit of early success from Budapest 5 on that B side of the map here.
Definitely needs to be sorted out by Endpoint for sure. Yeah, Budapest 5. I think the thing is, you know, you move on to that B bomb site, it does become a massive battle of individuals. And as we've said, T side have some really, really strong ones, and definitely showing it in the couple rounds that they have managed to pick up. Oh, if he had just pulled the trigger, going for a boost up over the smoke here. Drop down to suicide though, so they've got to be a little wary of the fact nothing coming in early on. They kind of needed that on the Endpoint side as well. You know, you look at the buy, the AWP is, of course, the crown jewel. Definitely a workable buy here, but a nice early pickup would have been great.
Smoke deployed by Surreal, but Budapest 5 are focused on short right now. Endpoint repositioning on the A site, figuring out where they want to play. Thomas is going to go ahead and move into Goose, while Surreal's going to stay on the ramp. There's lots of mollies available here for Budapest 5. If they were to push the A site, you'd think they'd use some of those nades, and they are going to commit to this just off the back of the flash. Quick kill comes in, and Robin in CT has got 2 players lined up for him. The bomb's been dropped down as well, so Budapest 5 need to get some quick kills, and it's not happening for them. Torzy's the last man left. He's already been dinked. And this round for Budapest 5 just does not go their way. They were relying on that flashbang to make a big difference there. And as soon as that doesn't blind Surreal, he lands the shot. And Robin just gets this easy lineup.
Really good stuff from Endpoint then. As once again, they are able to bounce back pretty damn quickly. Budapest 5, I think this time around, if I remember correctly, last time didn't really have the cash to fight back, but they do this time. So certainly got to be careful, but a good number of flashes coming over the top. It's Corey to try and pick up the pieces here. They've lost 2, they've traded 1. So still a man advantage therefore for Endpoint, and they're not really able to push out. Don't know how many more people are around, don't want to lose any more of their manpower. So looking really good here once again for Endpoint. Nice bit of proactivity over at long. Works really well. Smoke coming in, going to put a real crimp in the plans. Oh, but Thomas, he's caught in transition. He's not quite ready for them to just push through it. And now back into a 3-on-3. So suddenly, Budapest 5 have got a bit more of a doable situation, particularly because Crucial is alone on the A site, and he's also losing teammates. The numbers are dwindling for Endpoint. Budapest 5 are clawing their way back into this round.
Yeah, nice heads-up play from Corey to begin with. Just realized he could sneak through that smoke. He could get the timing right. And all of a sudden, Budapest 5 are the ones looking good. But oh no, they're not ready for Crucial. Quick kill with the AWP, and Corey has to get this kill, and he will. Well played by Budapest 5. Even if they overlook that position, Corey makes up for it by getting that frag. And this was a big round from Corey, again stepping up today. The timing against Thomas there was the main thing. Realized he could just sneak through that smoke. And if anything, Thomas throwing that smoke, it actually ends up being costly for him, because he thinks that that position's pretty clear. He thinks they're not going to push that smoke. It ends up being the opposite situation for him. He wasn't ready for that fight. He ends up losing it. Budapest 5 go on to win the round. And now they've got a chance to try and turn it into a win streak because Endpoint have fully forced here, but this is not an ideal buy script, I think it's fair to say. Scouts and Deegs are all that Endpoint can muster into this one.
Yeah, definitely not ideal at all. And also the way that they've set up their defense, it leaves Long, it leaves the A site very vulnerable. So looking more likely that it's going to be a retake scenario. Robin walks straight into the crosshair of Benito. Thomas also going to fall. That'll be the A site, folks. There is a player in behind here, but Max is not quite given a good enough opportunity to find that frag, unfortunately. Not confident in himself. Should have just gone for the Deeg. Meanwhile, Flashy is being a huge nuisance here, finding another frag out on the B-bomb site and looking, I think, to deny all these pistols, all these scouts away where he can, take the armor away, and leave Budapest 5 in a really, really, really strong position to, once again, similar to Mirage, close the gap in this first half as much as they possibly can. And it is looking good for them to do so. Mighty Max in an off angle here at the blue bin. Coolio, however, up the stairs, able to deal with him nice and quick. So just Surreal remaining. So there you are, Budapest 5 in with a flawless round. Sure, they're not going to find anyone by the everyone, sorry. Ooh, almost Surreal, maybe spoke a bit too soon, but nonetheless, don't find every single frag, but they find enough of them. They don't lose a single player, and they are indeed set to get a fifth.
Yeah, they should be able to get this one pretty much every time. Torzi, okay, somehow loses that fight against Surreal. Great shot from the scout, but Benito's ready for this push through mid. He's low on health, though. He's got to be careful. Mighty Max gets another frag. Endpoint here doing decently well on these initial trades. And Budapest 5 are going to focus on A long, focus on the A bomb site. They should be able to cross here pretty safely. Mighty Max, oh, and Surreal there with the scout. All of a sudden, Budapest 5 need to be very careful here. 2v3 for them. They still have the weaponry advantage, but they don't want to be throwing this one away. And Surreal's still got that scout. He's still focused on these fights. Flashy looking for it with the AWP. They just can't land these shots right now. They're trying to cross to the site. It's uncomfortable, but finally Coolio gets his way onto the site, and that should allow the safe bomb plant.
Ooh, just about. The molly spreads to him, and it will take him down. He thought he was lucky. He thought he was going to be away from it. Flashy not able to land anything, and he will get picked up as well. So there you are. Endpoint in with the 7th once again. Able to bounce back in relatively good fashion, but in a round where they had no right in doing so. Budapest 5 will be absolutely kicking themselves, as that is a massive round given away to Endpoint and allowing them again to retain their lead fairly comfortable. Not quite closing the gap as well as they did on Mirage. Sure, they have the money, they get the bomb down deep into the coffers to facilitate this on the T side, but all the same, they managed to get it out, but at what cost, right? I don't think they're too bothered economically being on the T side. It's all good, it's a lot easier. It's more about picking up the rounds, and that is one they should have got. They didn't, and now Endpoint are in with a pretty solid chance to start running away with this first half.
Robin here. Just gotta be careful, because Corey, wow, moves through the smoke. He's been making plays all day long. He makes another one here, but surely Robin's got him from behind. Yeah, Corey caught, not realizing Robin was so close by, but Budapest 5 up the pace onto the A bomb site, and they've got themselves the kills they needed. Endpoint aren't in position to deny this A side of things. Budapest 5 are gonna get this bomb down in a 3v3, and that smoke landing on short could lock Endpoint out. That's gonna be a problem. They've got to go through it, and Benito is ready for them. 2 kills on the spray, and Mighty Max gets traded out. Well played by Budapest 5. They take another round.
Bit back and forth in these past few rounds, isn't it? A little crazy between these two teams. So Endpoint going to be really, really, really thankful of the way that things started for them on this map. But again, on a stringy buy that they've got to try and make work. It has been successful for them in places. It's Max on the AWP, and he's not Gonna find too much early on, but Surreal, of course, finding the head of Flashy through the double doors there. Meanwhile, out on towards B. It's a little messy, but they managed to indeed take the site. Coolio in with 2. And now the rest of Endpoint left to pick up the pieces. Goodness me, one of those bullets was incredibly close to finding Torzy's head. But not going to be the case this time around. So the 1 frag coming in, it will be Budapest 5 in with the 6th. No crazy back and forth. Seems they have found a bit of stability.
Benito, here's the steps. It's not ready for him. Good headshot from Benito, making sure Robin has no chance of getting that kill. As you said, this is Budapest 5 finding a bit of consistency now on their T side with this round win. An opportunity to build up even more round wins. They've been putting some on the board recently. Here's those entries coming in. Corey doesn't get either of those kills. It was Coolio who stole them both away from him. That doesn't matter too much. Budapest 5 get their 6th round on the board. And only a couple of rifles saved over by Endpoint. Crucial and Thomas with the 2 rifles into this round. Benito's going to go for the early pick at A long, but there's no one there to stop him. And at Budapest 5, just need to be careful they don't get caught by any early aggression here. We saw the scout of... the scout Surreal in a previous round do damage to them. So they've got to make sure these rifles don't catch them out. And at Crucial already backing on up.
I think that's kind of the primary goal, or the realistic goal, let's say, is to just try and get these rifles out. But you never know. I mean, a lot of pressure on A from both teams. Could be an absolute bloodbath, and they're a little kind of stacked up, all looking at the same angle. They're really going to have to be careful here. The AWP is trying its best in the hands of Torzy to, you know, find the back of someone or someone's arm. But unfortunately, it's not really happening. Endpoint have set themselves up really, really well. Mighty Max gets aggressive. He manages to find one. Corey, though, is crept in, and this is where I think things fall apart. Thomas does find a kill. Tries to get away, not going to happen. And Budapest 5 have indeed come in with the damage control. 7-7, Endpoint once again letting their lead slip slightly in this first half. Obviously, a lot of conversation around the first half and how it's a lot less important, particularly if it is as close as it is right now. But still, they had a hefty advantage, not quite able to see it through to its fullest potential, unfortunately.
Lower tunnels control for Budapest 5 to begin this round, working their way towards mid. Again, Budapest 5 crossing up to short there without using any nades. There is a bit of a risk that you get picked by an AWP, but I guess in this round they're aware that Endpoint's money might not be good enough for that. They're only against the rifles this time round. Smoke deployed by Corey. Plenty of utility left for Budapest 5. Just feigning a bit of presence here on the A side of the map, using a full set of utility. But the rest of the team on the Budapest 5 side are much more focused on this B site. They found a lot of success here so far. This is where we need to see Endpoint step up on the hold. Surreal holding the tunnels early, but in comes the flank. Benito's got the timing right. This B play has been so successful for Budapest 5. And Corey on the flank gets even more damage. This is not looking good for Endpoint.
Definitely Budapest 5 have started to really pick things up towards the tail end of this first half. This kind of worry you ever so slightly. Their CT side pretty effective over on Mirage. We'll see. It is Endpoint's map pick.
There we go.
Can kind of say it's a little more edged out towards that T side, although it is sort of difficult, I think, at the moment to fully give dust to a side advantage, particularly, of course, with the Krieg moving out of prominence.
Yeah, I think that the B site hold was a bit of an issue throughout that half for Endpoint, in all honesty. There were quite a few rounds where they ended up losing either to fast B plays against pistols or with those B splits coming in. I think that was because oftentimes they were playing two players on the B site itself, and they didn't really have anyone able to slow the mid push down. They weren't able to slow that mid part of the B split down. So you saw in that last round the real example of that, where they just arrive so quickly from mid, you can't delay them because you don't have anyone focused on mid to begin with. So those B players are just in a really tough position where they're having to get flanked out pretty quickly. They're having to fight all those angles. Endpoint had a few struggles throughout the half holding that B site at times, but overall, it's still a decent CT side for them. Like you were saying, I think they'll be okay with 7 rounds on the board, and they'll head into their T side on a map they're comfortable on, thinking that they can probably still get the better of their opponents here. Even if it was a bit of a slow end to the half, it's still not the end of the world for Endpoint, and I'm sure they'll be aware of that.
Certainly. We'll see now moving into this second half. Whether Budapest 5 can continue with their momentum or whether Endpoint are going to come in with a strong showing here. And it looks like they're going to start off, or at least want to start off, with a strong pistol. But then Budapest 5 have got an awful lot of utility of their own as well. So, classic long hit coming in here from the T side. Torzi are ready for this push down lower tunnels, but Surreal not quite biting just yet. Playing it nice and passive, nice and safe. Going to try and get his timing perfect as, of course, the smoke's coming in. The flash through the smoke, absolutely perfect. But Benito is only able to get one. He actually gets traded back there. Surreal, meanwhile, still in lower dark. Coolio through the smoke takes out Crucial. That's got to hurt. It's a man advantage for Budapest 5. And Surreal is not quite able to find the frags onto these rotators that he was looking for. He certainly bought time, though. But directly on the A side itself, Hawker, it's a 4 versus 2. So this could be real troublesome for Endpoint if they're not careful. Robin's already gone down. It's Thomas kind of all by himself, and unfortunately no ammo. Does manage to get that frag a second as well. He's done well on that front, but the kit's going to get on the bomb pretty quickly here, surely, and I think Surreal, he's not going to be able to do anything. The bomb's defused. He's not even going to get a single frag. Oh, Endpoint. Absolute disaster.
Yeah, I thought Thomas was screwed as soon as he switched weapons, but he somehow fights his way out of it for a couple of kills at least. Tries to set up his teammate, but look at the buy into this next round for Endpoint. They've got themselves a couple of AKs. It's a very similar buy here on both sides. Because Endpoint got that bomb down, they can force up and they can continue to compete into this one. Thomas has this AK and he's already crossed it. They're not ready for him. Nice kill from Thomas. A dink lands by Torzi, I think while he was in midair, but it's not going to matter too much. Thomas is only down to half health, and a nice advantage at the start of this round for Endpoint.
Catch ahead. Oh, Crucial. Not quite able to do so. And Flashy will dip out, as it were. Trying to put a lot of pressure onto middle here. They'll find Surreal. It's kind of well done. They sacrifice a bit of control over at A, but of course Endpoint, they don't have the utility, and Corey is abusing that fact massively, just coming in with so many frags. It looked good for Endpoint initially, but Budapest 5, they pulled it back. A good number of tags from Crucial coming in here. He's going to be frustrated he doesn't get a single frag in that situation. But a 10th round for Budapest 5. They're looking good on their CT side, and Endpoint are very quickly here letting things slip away slightly. The second half has not started off very well at all.
After getting that initial pick, Budapest 5 just reply with some aggression, and once they clear out the tunnels and mid, it's just a really tough position for Endpoint to be in, because like you were saying, if they had nades, they would have been okay, but without the nades, they struggle to move on to 8, and now the pistols in this round are struggling again. Bonito getting a couple of nice kills at mid, should be good for these further fights as well. There we go, lines up the headshot he was looking for. And Thomas will be looking for maybe a couple of kills at the end here. Anything else is unlikely, though. Spots the first man, gets dealt with. Budapest 5 keep all of their 5 alive. 11-7 lead for them. A bit of money being built up as well on the CT side. It's all looking pretty good for the Hungarians right now.
Endpoint on their map pick then need to really turn things around here. It is starting to become a big problem. Budapest 5 with a pretty hefty lead early on into this second half. And Endpoint has yet to get a foot in the door. What is the plan? I like this. Some deep smokes coming through. Give them a bit of control of short. I think they were trying to find the frag there. All the timing for Thomas is almost terrible, but he does manage to get one, almost picking up Flashy. That's a pretty good exchange early on. Sure, it's a 1-for-1. Normally give that to the T side anyway, but leaving the remaining B player so very low, this is going to be difficult. He ends up falling, and I think now the retake completely off the card, surely, yeah, and they know it. Budapest 5 just going to look to save. So there you have it. Endpoint with a nice bit of individual heroics coming through from Thomas. Managed to get their 8th on the board. First round of the second half as well. Let's see if they can turn it into a few more.
Yeah, the tunnel's aggression giveth and the tunnel's aggression taketh away in this round. The previous round, the tunnel's aggression was really nice for the CTs. It got them some good information, some good map control. They were able to really win the round in part off the back of that. But when you go for it too often, you can leave that B site very vulnerable. And even though Thomas nearly got caught, like you were saying, recovering for that 1 kill makes a pretty big difference, because then Endpoint can start to line up that B split. The 1 man that's left on B has to focus again on both positions, which is just not really possible. So he tries to isolate the fight in tunnels. Crucial was ready for him. Pretty easy kill with the AWP. And that leads to the round win. So Endpoint get themselves a nice and easy round on the board to start things off on their T side. They'll be hoping that they can get more easy round wins just like that, as they send a couple of players into the tunnels at the start of this round again. No boost for Torzi here, so he's not going to be able to peek into lower tons, just having to hold mid right now.
Certainly interesting. It seems like he's called for one, though, eh? He's heard you, mate. He says, you know what, Hawker, that's a pretty good idea, actually. I think I'll get myself a frag off the back of it. Nice little flick to pick up Surreal, and there you have it. An opening exchange goes the way of Budapest 5, and now Endpoint once again on the back foot. Feels a little rough for them. Cannot catch a break, unfortunately, and I think Budapest 5 going to look to work off of this advantage pretty effectively. Endpoint grouped up outside of B. Definitely do seem to have an idea that the B bomb site is a lot more vulnerable than other areas of the map, so see what the plan is here, but they don't really have any control to work with. They don't have much information. 45 seconds left. They've got to go for something, and they just don't have a lot to work with. I think it's going to be a really tough round for them.
Oh, Molotov landed in the smoke there, but Endpoint are on their way to the B-bomb site. Thomas gets an important trade kill, and he gets a follow-up frag. Missed shot from Flashy is so costly there. Thomas does go down, but in comes the trade from Robin. He's got a smoke out, but Coolio is there before the smoke blooms. And it's up to Crucial with the AWP to get both these kills. He knows there's a player close by, but he's not going to find him. Torzi comes away with it. And Endpoint there got themselves into a decent position, but the rest of the follow-up for Thomas was just a little bit late. I think if they arrived a few seconds sooner, they would have been okay. But unfortunately, those few seconds can make all the difference in Counter-Strike, and Budapest 5 are able to win the round.
Indeed. Timing definitely not there for Endpoint. I think they weren't quite ready for Thomas's play. So very unfortunate in that sense, but that's the nature of the game. That's often how it goes, you know? So need to be careful. See here, really getting down to the wire, honestly. I feel like Endpoint are locked out pretty heftily of the second half. Mid to B split coming in with a heavy emphasis on the mid. Corey is sat inside the smoke, maybe waiting for a flash. Timing going to be absolutely everything, though. Flashy does pick up Thomas. Flashy still alive at the back of the site, eventually getting traded. It's Corey who comes in, however, with the perfect timing, right? When half the team's on the site, half the team still in and around middle. Gonna go down, and it looks like a 1 versus 3 for Crucial. I'm not sure whether he fancies his chances. He's got the one flash. He is on the AWP. He does manage to get the bomb down. Timing going to be absolutely everything. Finds the first. Gets the second as well. Uh-oh. Now into the 1 versus 1 against Torzy. AWP versus AWP. He's brought it down this far. Just playing it nice and patiently. Not over-peaking things. Waiting for Torzy to come to him. He is going to start to get a little restless, though. Torzy will drop. Moving in and around the box. Torzy up close and personal. But Crucial gets the no-scope. Gets the 1v3. And the 9th round for Endpoint.
Damn, Crucial stepping up in the clutch. Those first 2 shots in quick succession. Doesn't have to think about those ones too much. But at the end here, it was all about the mind games. All about how you were going to play the 1v1. And Crucial remained calm, remained confident. Even though his opponent was trying to make him peek into the open, he knew that he could just sit back. And he lands the no-scope at the end there. And I was a bit worried that with the way Endpoint were playing, so focused on this B site, I was worried that Crucial was going to struggle to get involved in quite a few of these early rounds. But man, does he step up for his team, winning Endpoint a big round. And I think that's been one of the differences between these two teams, is that Endpoint have had more individual plays, more flashy plays across the board. I think that made it a pretty big difference over on Mirage. And if that can start to come through on Dust 2 as well, that's when you start to become a little bit worried for Budapest 5. Because we know some of these Endpoint players can be very, very good when they hit their peak.
All right, back into the action shortly then. As Endpoint, they did manage to find a bit of energy. That second wind on Mirage, it brought them through to the victory there. See whether it does the same here against same team, of course, on a very different map in the form of Dust 2. But their pick, something that we expected them to pretty effectively blow out, honestly. They've been playing a lot of it, as we said at the top of the map. And particularly against Budapest 5, it seems to go pretty well for them most of the time. So, but it has come close recently, I seem to remember you saying. So maybe Budapest 5 have put some work into this map, particularly into this matchup. And it is kind of showing. It is kind of showing if they have put that work in. Tough buy for them into this round, though, Hawker. I think Endpoint are in with a really good chance of not only closing gap, but also breaking the economy of the CT side.
This is a good opportunity for Endpoint to really get this rolling. Nice shot from Torzy on the hold, though. Flash is not really landing onto him. There's no more flashes for them to work with, but Torzy misses the shot anyway. Corey at the back of the bomb site has got to step up, and he will. 2 nice kills from Corey. And Surreal is going to do what he can to keep his team in this round, but Robin was really far away from the action. Only now is he arriving to the site. The Swede coming through, but Corey gets a 3rd kill from the site itself. They just cannot get that man out of there. Budapest 5 up to a 13th round win. Solid hold across the board. And now Endpoint's money is called into question. This is not where Endpoint want to be right now, Scriv.
Kind of a tough time, honestly. Sure, it's hard, and they do have a buy to work with, but Corey, right, he gets overlooked, and he really shouldn't. A molly, or even just a flash to have a quick look round that corner. Or even just the first guy checking it, so you can trade nice and easily. I suppose it's a bit tough for them, though, moving into the A site, but definitely a few mistakes from Endpoint in that round costing them. By the looks of things, like you said, not just that round, probably this one as well. Tag for tag there, over at middle. Nothing much coming so far, though, from either side. It's a little... I wouldn't say a slow round. Endpoint have been taking a lot of peaks, but in terms of the frags, it definitely has not been the flashiest, the loudest round. We do need to be careful here. These pistols, particularly the Deagles, nothing to write home about, but at the same time, you've got to give them an awful lot of respect on that CT side. 50 seconds left. Endpoint going to start to make a move. Ooh, and the molly. The smoke, sorry. No, it was a molly. They've got 2 AWPs out. It's a little hard to follow on the hood, but all the same, the molly could have made all the difference there. The AWP got to be very, very careful. Run boost coming in. Torzy does manage 1, peeking around, and Corey also helping out. 3k for him, 2k for Torzy. Impenetrable defense. 14th picked up for Budapest.
Yeah, Torzy making that look nice and clean. Quick kills in and around that ramp position. And as you said, he had the support as well of Corey, who has continued his great form throughout this series. Corey's been really good as well on the edge of some of these smokes. There was that earlier round where he was able to play from CT. He was able to push through at the right time. At the start of this round, though, Endpoint have got themselves A long control right from the get-go. Budapest 5 not fighting for A long. Instead, they decide to focus their attention on short. And Endpoint are just walking up long right now.
Something a bit different. The close smokes, maybe not to be expected here. Nade goes in, but not going to do as much. They have kind of abandoned the A site, though. They're happy to go for the retake. Which is definitely interesting. The molly's going to burn in and do a bit of chip damage there onto the Endpoint boys. The bomb does indeed go down. We'll see how this goes. A full 5-on-5 retake. Thomas coming in from behind, though. Will manage to find Badito. Bit of a tap spray, not super effective. He will be dealt with pretty quickly, though. I think he needed to stay alive perhaps slightly longer. Has bought some time and a frag. But we'll see. This is such a weird situation right now. And Budapest 5, I think, don't quite know how to approach it with so many players still left alive on both sides. They're finding trades, but they're sort of not really sold on the idea. Crucial nearly going down to the molly, but it's all good. They're looking to save anyway. He does go down. So it's a 10th for Endpoint, but it's a fairly costly one.
Double up setup will be saved over on the CT side. Endpoint, though, just able to walk up A long, and then, yeah, Budapest 5 not really rotating over to A fast enough. They started getting kills on their retake attempts. They had utility to use, which could have been really useful. You saw that Molotov at ramp forced Crucial into the open. If they were there maybe 20 seconds sooner with those nades, they could have maybe used those to get some kills, but a bit too slow on the rotate, and here comes the fight for long this time round. Corey's been caught out. Crucial with 2 kills. Flashes over the top, making the difference for Endpoint, and with a 5v3 lead early in this round, at this point, this is Endpoint's round to lose.
Looking really, really good for them then, as they seem to have kind of once again found that energy. Might be too little too late this time around. But we'll see. Budapest 5 still got a shoe in at this round as well. The double up setup still in play. 5-on-3. Nothing really coming their way. It's a strange and difficult situation right now. Real has to be very careful, but they're not really giving anything away on the Endpoint side of things. They are going to group up outside B, and I would imagine go for the hit eventually. Flash comes in, and Flashy is not able to look away from it. Another one over the top there. He does get one from the double stack. A tough spot to deal with as he gets a second. The rotation starts to come in. Endpoint not like this. What has happened? They've not found a single frag on the B-bomb site. And all the rotations are here. Crucial's on the other side of the map. There's only 30 seconds left. He's got a 1 versus 3, and it looks like Budapest 5, despite not having the manpower, will get their 15th.
Wow. Endpoint will be kicking themselves with this round not going their way. Budapest 5 had to land basically every single AWP shot, and they're able to do it. Flashy there just isolates a couple of fights on B, and then Torzy being so close by was probably a bit of a surprise for Endpoint. I don't think they would have been expecting that second AWP to arrive so soon, but he's able to get into position. Here are those shots again from Flashy. Gets that first man, gets this second one, and then this is where the other AWP just arrives at the doors. Budapest 5 made sure they had a bit of a gamble, a few players close to that B site, and it makes all the difference as Endpoint now have to win this round, and they only have 1 AK to try and do it.
It is going to be a hell of a task. Forced by themselves into oblivion, hope that they can win. Fast early pressure coming in here, but nothing too much. Double nade there, I believe, and Benito getting aggressive to find that kill onto Mighty Max. Looks like we might just need that third and final map, to be honest, Hawker. Thomas has got other ideas, though, as he will manage to trade one back. Real and Torzi kind of playing chicken in at middle. Nothing coming off of that. Still a man advantage for the Budapest 5.
Yeah, the Budapest 5 may not have kept all of their 5 alive, but they've got the advantage. They can be called the Budapest 4 for the rest of this round, because they've got themselves into a good position either way, and Endpoint are going to use what little nades they have to try and close the distance onto this A-bomb site. Flashbang not successful. Torzi's able to dodge away from them. Nice flick from Torzi. Almost gets the second man, but it's Coolio who's set up for success. It's all on Thomas. 1v3. He gets the first kill onto the site, but in comes Corey. Well played by Budapest 5, and we will be going to a third map, Scriv.
Yeah, it was a really surprising turn of events, honestly. Endpoint, it comes close in the first half, sure, but not able to deal with the Budapest 5 CT side at all. Endpoint kind of not as impressive as I thought their T side was going to be on a map that they've played an awful lot of recently.